Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Unfortunately, I have hit a rock with my rotary cutter. Fortunately, I have a slip clutch, but the shock that the rotary cutter received after hitting the rock, I now have a vibration that's less than ideal. Hopefully, it's just bent blades. I'm going to show you a clip of what I'm seeing. I've lifted the rotary cutter up and ran it just to kind of look at what's going on. I don't see any oil, so luckily I don't think the gearbox shaft is bent. We're going to remove the blades, we're going to remove the stump jumper, and since that's removed, we'll kind of look at the shaft to make sure it's not bent. I don't believe it is, but we'll see. Let's get into it. The first step is to remove the blades. There are two of them, so there are two of these large nuts that you see there. They are accessed from the top of the rotary cutter, and I'm going to remove those with a large impact. The blades do have a slight bend in them. It's very difficult to get on camera, but they do have a slight bend. Let's weigh them and see how much the weight of each blade is off. Blade number 1 is 8 pounds, 9.6 ounces. Blade number 2 is 8 pounds, 9.2 ounces. Here's a better idea of the shape of them. Stacked on top, you can see that one is slightly bent upwards. Now that I know I need a new set of blades because the ones that I currently have are bent, I'm going to take the stump jumper off and get a look at it. To remove the stump jumper, you remove this cotter pin and then this castle nut. And luckily, there's a hole here that I can get a crowbar through, or a steel rod, whatever you want to use, to lock this thing in place so that when I'm pulling on it with a pull bar, I can remove the nut. Got the stump jumper off. It came off pretty easily compared to the first time I took it off where it was completely seized. I wanted to mention that. The first time I took this thing off, I had to use penetrating oil, I had to use pullers, had to use sledgehammers and pry bars. It was a complete disaster. So what I did to combat that in the future, if I ever had to work on it like I am right now, is the splines down on the inside here, I greased those up really well so that it wouldn't get seized and stuck. Once I got the nut off, I was able to easily just get a sledgehammer and tap around the outer perimeter of it while I was pulling, and it slid right off. I'm very happy right now because I flipped the main support over on that flat board and I measured the two holes here and here. Those are the holes that the blades actually mount to, and they are exactly the same measurement. The part that's actually bent that we saw spinning is this two unsupported sections, which really, they don't make that much of a difference. So I think I can get away with just buying new blades. I considered buying a new stump jumper just because everything will be, since I've got it off, I might as well, But for $400 to $500 shipped, I think I'll pass on that because, like I said, those two holes that the blades actually mount to are dead on. They're exactly the same measurement, so I don't really have to worry about that. New blades should fix it because the blades were in really bad shape. They're bent up as you saw. I'll flip it over and show you the support side and give you a better look at what I actually greased. Before I flip it over, I want to give you a better explanation of what I was measuring. So I have it flipped over on that flat board. The part that it's sitting on is the part that the gearbox, it actually bolts to the gearbox. And I know that part's flat. I checked it with a level. What I actually measured was the distance between the bottom of the blade mount here. There's a keyway. Bottom of the blade mount here with a keyway, and there's another keyway here. And I just checked those two, and like I said, the number was dead on the money. So I know that that's straight. And when I flip it over, you'll see that piece of steel is so thick, you'd have a hard time bending that sucker. I think it's like 1 inch thick or something. There's that thick piece of steel I was talking about. I checked it, it is 1 inch thick. It's 3.5 inches wide. After seeing that, I would have a hard time believing that I bent that just with a small rock. It would take a heck of a hit and a lot bigger machine than what I have to bend that piece of steel. So I think that's good. I'm pretty happy I don't have to spend $500 on a stump jumper. These are the splines I was talking about here. Right here. And I'll pick the camera up once I get done talking because I don't want to be holding the camera and talking because it's shaky and it makes you feel drunk. So, since I know that that's straight and everything came off smoothly and the spines are not marred up or nothing like that, I'll get a clip of the actual shaft spinning with no nut on it, and then I'll put a nut on it. I'm not going to get indicators and all that stuff because I believe we can visually tell that that's going to be straight. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to get the stump jumper mounted back in place. After saying I was going to pick the camera up, I forgot to pick the camera up. So here are the splines that I was talking about. I just got grease on my finger, rubbed it in all the splines, lubed everything up really well before I put the stump jumper back on the rotary cutter, and it made it a million times easier to get off, so I definitely recommend doing that. Shaft looks straight to me. Here's a close-up of the splines greased up before I mount the stump popper onto the rotary cutter. Let's go get clips of the shaft spinning, and then I'll get the stump jumper back on and get blades ordered. Got the stump popper back in place. Gonna be on standby for about a week. I ordered the blades and it says it's gonna take 5 to 7 days to get here. So once they come in, the video will continue. And if you're wondering about how to find your blade part number, you don't have your manual, you can usually look up a manual online in a PDF form based off the model of your implement. Also, they usually stamp the model of the blades if you want to go with OEM like I do. They're stamped right here. It's very difficult to see, but it's 820198C. So the new blades are in, and I want to weigh the new ones to make sure not only that they're balanced, but to see how much more they weigh than the older blades, because I know the older blades were pretty well worn. I think they were actually an inch shorter than they were supposed to be. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, the old blades are around 8 pounds 9 ounces. Let's see what the new blades are. 10 pounds 1 ounce. £10 0.6 ounces. So they're pretty well balanced, and they weigh, well, like 1.5 pounds more than the old blades. That's a lot of difference. It's 3 pounds total, somewhere around there. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, let's get the new blades on and see how much smoother this thing spins. Got the new blades installed. Do want to say before I start everything up, the older blades were worn. They were about 1 inch shorter than these, and that's just from use. That being said, the newer blades are 1 inch longer. So when you put the new blades on, you want to check and make sure that the actual body of your rotary cutter is not bent anywhere, and manually spin it around and make 100% sure that it's not going to hit anything on the frame, because that would be bad to get a brand new set of blades and destroy them, especially when they're $100 a piece. Also, you want to make sure that there's some play. You know, you torque these to, in my case, 450 foot-pounds. You also torque the center nut, I'll throw that in there too, to 450 foot-pounds, but you want to make sure there's play so that these things can swing, and you want to make sure that they swing correctly, because that saves the blades from getting destroyed if you hit a stump or, in my case, a rock. Let's get this thing spinning and see if the vibration is gone, or at least minimal. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys, be safe when you're doing this, because hydraulics can fail at any moment, and if you're relying on tractor hydraulics alone, it's generally not a good idea. You always want to use some kind of jack stands, blocks, something to keep this thing elevated from falling on you. Okay, now that's out of the way. I use 3/4 inch drive sockets, 1 3/4 inch for the blades, 1 7/16 inch for the stump jumper. You're going to need a general socket and wrench set if you're going to do all the other maintenance, so I definitely recommend doing that. You don't need an impact wrench. I did use an impact wrench just because it makes things faster and easier to break nuts loose. But if you don't have that, you can also use a big pull bar I use this to tighten everything with. I don't use an impact to tighten things because you can strip things out and that's not a good idea. At least in my experience of seeing people do that. 3/4 inch draw, close to 4 foot, breaker bar. That's what I use to tighten everything down with, and then to torque everything down. I realize a lot of people don't have a torque wrench that goes that high, so you can do research online. They'll tell you ways to get real close. But I have a torque wrench, so I use that. It's expensive, and if you're doing this every now and then, not worth it, but I do stuff like this a lot, so it was worth it to me to have that. Also recommend, I used a 6-inch extension as well to get down to the blades, the top of the nut. Okay. I also used a hammer to knock some things loose. I had to use, when I was trying to get the blades off to begin with, they were kind of stuck, so I used this piece of pipe over the nut. Don't do it over the threads, do it over the nut. Okay, and just gently tap it. Don't beat the heck out of it because you're gonna mess some stuff up. Just gently tap it and it will come out, I promise. Be patient, because patience will save you a lot of time and money when all you gotta do is do a couple of taps and not spend days and a lot of money getting parts up. Not sure if I covered the brass rod, but I use a brass rod a lot of times with things like this. Since everything's here, I'm gonna go over and readjust the clutches, check the gearbox, check the bolts on the gearbox and all that, and grease everything up. I keep everything greased anyway, but you can never ever grease. Grease is cheaper than steel. Like I said, be safe. If you guys have any questions, comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hope you guys got something from this video. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. To show you how my brain works, I completely forgot to mention that the blades fixed the issue. I'm sure, as you saw from the previous clip, the blades fixed it, and you could probably tell that because the old blades were completely destroyed. So, blades fixed the issue. I'm very thankful for that because it saved me a lot of money. Don't have to buy a new gearbox, don't have to buy a new stump jumper. So, very happy about that. That was the first money that I spent on this thing in close to 10 years, so I'm extremely happy about that. It's held up very well. Nice unit. Also want to mention, if you saw some liquid in the last clip, well actually 2 clips ago now because I forgot to mention this part, it's just water. It rained yesterday morning a lot, and no oil, nothing like that. So don't worry, don't freak out. No oil, no leaks, everything's good. Now, I'm gonna go get this thing checked over, and then I'm gonna go use it. I will really see you guys in the next one, this clip. Bye guys, thanks again for watching.